By the end of this video, you will have an understanding of how to make a camera follow your player using Unity and C#. For the best tips and tricks on game programming and game development, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon to get notified when I upload new videos every Monday. If you're already a subscriber, thank you. It really means the world to me. My name is George Wulfers and I'm a professional game developer. Let me guide you on your game development journey to find out how you can get more free learning resources. Be sure to watch this video to the end.
Okay, so let's go into the Unity project and find the gameplay scripts. Go inside of there, and we are going to make a folder. We're going to call it camera. Instead of this, we are going to make a script. Call it follow camera. And let's open it up. So before we get started, let's talk about what we want to do and how this is going to work. So we have this camera right here, and we want to make sure that it follows the player around when it moves from its location. There's many ways of doing this, and the first way that we're going to look at today is going to be a very simple way of doing it. It's not going to be gradual movement. But as we move forward, we're going to change this to make it smoother and maybe move only if it reaches, like, I don't know, 25% of the screen based on the center on either direction. Okay, so let's open this up. And let's write our namespace. So the first thing we want is we're going to want to keep track of an object, and that is going to be our follow object. And we'll also want to make sure that we have a follow offset in the Z direction. And we want to make sure to update our camera only if we have a follow object. So we're going to get that follow position, and we're just going to set our follow position to be Y, and for the Z we want to be the follow position Z plus the follow Z offset. So let's save everything. And this is the minimal code that you will need in order for you to do that. Now, this Z offset, you'll see in a minute, when we test it, it has to be negative, at least in 2D. If it's positive, I guess it could work if you rotate the camera. But right now we're not rotating it, we're just setting that position. So it has to be negative so that it goes towards us and not towards the player. So it's far away from the player so that we can actually see. Now, the amount here, like if it's greater than -1, if it's like 10 or 100, it doesn't really matter at this point because of the orthographic camera. But if we had a perspective camera, then yes, that will matter. So yeah.
Alright, I hope this is making sense. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you are struggling with.
All right, so now that we have our camera set up, let's get it. And let's add this here and let's choose player. And we can see, so this is what I'm talking about, right? If right now the projection mode is set to orthographic. Orthographic means that everything, regardless of how far it is from each other, is going to be at the same size. And usually that's what you want with 2D games. So it doesn't, like if it's 0, you see that you don't see anything. That's because it's, if we look at the camera here, we are, on that position. Now, if you do -1, however, you can see that it sees everything. And if you put it like at, well, maybe not that much. But if you see that it stays the same size in orthographic, even if you're far away, because there's no perspective. So we can just leave z at -1. And that's going to overwrite that. So now let's press play. And you can see that our camera is now following where we are. Now, we may not always want the camera to always follow closely like this. We may want, kind of like Super Mario, where only if you get too close to the edges will it move. So we kind of want to do something like that so that we have kind of like a smoother transition instead of a hard one, I guess, like this, where it's just constantly following us. And this will actually allow us to use events to tell the camera when it needs to move. When it reaches a certain point, then we'll let it update us as long as it needs to get to that next point. But right now we actually have the camera updating constantly every frame, which it depends on the game. If it's a 2D game, it shouldn't be that bad. But if it's a 3D game, then yes, you probably need to specify which objects can and cannot update every frame.
Congratulations! Now you know how to make a camera follow your player using Unity and C#. If you would like to follow along, I have provided a link to the project in the description below. Don't forget to also get our free guide where we explain in more detail in the description below. If you like our content and if it has helped you in the past, go to our Patreon page and support us. And before you go, check out these other videos on how to make a 2D game using Unity. If you like this video, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and share this with your friends. Thank you for watching and see you guys next week. Have a great day and be safe.